Things you didn't know about Freaks and Geeks. It debuted September 25th, 1999. It lasted only one season, but you had the cast of Linda Cardellini, John Francis Daly, James Franco, Sam Levine, Seth Rogen, Jason Segel, Martin Starr, and then not in this picture, but over here you also have Busy Phillips. And do you guys recognize John Flaherty?
Mm-hmm.
So
from Happy Gilmore and a bunch of other stuff.
Hey, Shooter, you want to go to
Jackass?
Jackass. So John Francis Daly, he was the only actor playing a character that was his own age. He was 14 when they filmed the show. Most everybody else was kind of close, but they weren't their own age, except for Linda Cardellini, who was 24 years old playing a 16-year-old.
Did he go on to Bones, that show Bones later? Is that the same guy?
The only thing I heard you say was Bones twice. What was that sentence?
Yeah, Bones. You know Bones? The Bones show on Fox? Bones.
Yeah, what about it?
A lot of Bones. Did he go to, was he the psychiatrist or whatever that was on that show?
I don't know, but I do know that he is the one that goes on to be the trainee in the movie Waiting.
I think he might have been in Bones. I could be wrong, but he looks just like the guy from Bones.
Well, somebody in the
I
comments,
just wanna
let
keep
Frank know if
saying
he's right,
Bones.
if he was in Bones. By the way, make sure you're clicking that like down
Bones.
there and subscribe to the channel, but definitely click that like if you guys are enjoying these videos. Now, the majority of the show's budget actually went to the music. There were more than 120 songs used in the 18 episodes, including Joan Jett's Bad Reputation, which played during the opening credits. They even delayed the DVD release, and Fox eventually removed a lot of the music for reruns to avoid paying extra fees. That's just how much music was in this show.
Weird cover.
Well, I mean, this was just an image of an oral history. I just took that from somebody. And almost all of the storylines. So this is one of the co-creators. This is Paul Feig.
The guy who directed the worst Ghostbusters ever.
And he's the one that directed Bridesmaids.
Yeah, that one wasn't that good either.
No, Bridesmaids is great. Almost all of the storylines in the show actually happened to the writer. So when they came on as a writer, he gave them a questionnaire with questions like, what was the best thing that happened to you in high school? What was the most humiliating first sexual thing that you did? And those stories ended up in the actual storyline, except for one big storyline that involved Seth Rogen's character, Ken. This was inspired by Howard Stern, where Ken finds out that his girlfriend was born an intersex woman. Whole storyline. It's great. By the way, if you've never seen Freaks and Geeks, I cannot recommend it enough. It's a shame that it only lasted one season.
Could never find an audience.
It ended up, well, it struggled because of scheduling issues. It was actually taken off of the air during the World Series. It aired on, I believe, NBC. And this was back when NBC had the World Series, not Fox. And it was then eventually put up against
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
And that was right when that show first hit at its peak, man. And it just absolutely crushed Freaks and Geeks. And the producers actually created a website for Freaks and Geeks, but NBC refused to use it in advertisements because they didn't want to promote using the internet over watching television.
Okay.
Brilliant
20
move.
years later?
Yep, brilliant move. And I'm leaving this picture up here while we talk about this final one, because finally, Paul Feig, he did have ideas for season 2, and that included something bad was going to happen to Lindsay as she takes off and follows the Grateful Dead, destroying her parents' trust. Sam was going to find his voice as a drama geek. Neil joins the school choir. Bill, this is Bill Haberchuck right here, one of my favorite of all time television characters. He ends up becoming a jock under the tutelage of Coach Fredericks, who might have ended up his stepfather. Daniel would end up in jail, and Nick would probably join the army. Now, one of the reasons I bring this picture up,
A lot going on there.
well, I mean, there's a lot of characters. And this is from one particular scene where it's the Geeks. It's Bill Haberchuck and his friends. And they have all these different ingredients on the kitchen table. And he tells them, I think it's for like $5 or something like that. They blindfold him. He goes, whatever you put in the blender, I'll drink it. Now, it can't be anything toxic. It can't be like Clorox bleach or anything like that, but I will drink it. And so they put a stocking cap over him, and they just put all kinds of gross crap in there, and he ends up drinking it. And then he goes and he drinks more, and they're like, what are you doing? He goes, it's kind of good. And then he just keeps chugging the junk out of the blender. But that's things you didn't know about Freaks and Geeks.